I think it sort of engages all the senses really, perhaps not so much sense of smell, but you know, I mean, you go out in the hot air balloon, and for starters, you're sitting. So it's a tiny little sort of wicker basket you climb into, and you can be helped into that if need be. And the first thing is you feel the heat. So that's definitely something that everybody can feel, and it's not an unpleasant heat at all. It's just the burner from above to get the balloon sort of going, and it's perfectly safe. But yeah, that's quite a nice sort of feeling. And then the sounds, like you have like a sort of whooshing sound. Yeah, it's not scary but it's something different, and you very much feel that. And then once you've actually got the balloon up in the air, you can sort of feel the wind a little bit. You're kind of above the clouds. I mean, for those that have some sight, you can see sort of the birds and so on, and that's pretty impressive. I mean, the whole thing is such a big adventure. We had to wait a few times before we did it, because it can get cancelled if the wind conditions aren't right. So I think it was the fourth time we managed to go, having sort of been booked in for a few more times before that. And we had one of like the best pilots in the UK. I kind of wanted somebody who was very experienced. And we went over a place called Henley in Arden, which is a very picturesque part of the UK. It's got a lovely river, and you see all these little houses down below. But yeah, as you say, for people of who might be visually impaired, the sound and the heat is very impressive. And then what was quite fun is that it's quite unpredictable, because of the wind can drop at any time. And all of a sudden, our sort of pilot said, we're going to have to land because the wind is dropping very rapidly. So he just looked for the next piece of ground he could find, and it was actually a playing field, a school playing field with all these children on it, sort of doing sport. So we started to make our way down, and it was, they were sort of moving out of the way. They had enough time to get out of the way. So again, it wasn't sort of dangerous, but it was just quite exciting. And when we landed, of course, they were just thrilled, and they were sort of helping everybody put the balloon away, because you can fold it up and then it's taken away with a trailer and a car. So because it's a huge sort of balloon, the fabric of the balloon. But yeah, that was very sort of exciting. You have to brace yourself for when you land. So while you're in the balloon, you're standing up, and when you sort of land, they tell you to sit inside it, and you hold a kind of handle, and it's all perfectly fine, no injuries or anything, but it is quite unpredictable, so that's what makes it exciting. And then you have the champagne afterwards. I always thought it was while you're in the balloon, but actually they're very small. I don't think it would be very practical with the heat above you, so it's nice to have it when you land and just relax and enjoy it. Yeah.
When the burner is going to heat the air in the balloon, it's very noisy. And if you're anywhere near it, of course, it's very hot. Well, that figures, doesn't it? About the hot. But other than that, you feel a little bit of motion when you first take off, kind of like being in an elevator. And other than that, you don't feel anything. It's kind of like if you're in a jet aircraft and you're up going 400 or 500 miles an hour, you don't feel any forward motion. It's sort of like that, except there's no bounciness or anything at all to it. You're just sitting up there doing nothing. And it's very quiet. And what's really weird is, if somebody talks to you from the ground, you can hear their voices. I don't know why that is, but you can be a few hundred feet above the ground and hear them talking. They might holler up at you and you can holler back whatever the case may be. But there's not really much to it. It's very calm, very peaceful. And when you come down, at first you might feel kind of like an elevator coming back down, but not much. And that's it. At least from a totally blind person's perspective, it is. I have no idea how it looks because I can't do that sort of thing.
I guess I'll never find out. I always wanted to go up in a hot air balloon, but the last couple of times that I heard about somebody went up in one, it burst into flames. Think I'll stay on the ground.
Single finger.
Thank you. First of all, that was lovely, very lovely description and an example. I've always wanted to go in a hot air balloon, but I've never made it. And you almost made me feel as if I was in there with you. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. You know, it was very lovely.
A balloon ride is something I've always wanted to do, just never found the opportunity. I have a couple questions for any totally blind people who have done it. Is the burner really loud up there? I mean, because you can hear it on the ground when they go over, and I just wonder, does it? So do you just? That's all you can hear. For instance, I mean, this is probably not really likely to happen, but if a bird was to fly past, would you be able to hear it? So, or do you just kind of isolated from everything because of the sound? And number two, is the basket really wicker? Is that still true? You would have thought they would have upgraded materials by now. Thanks.